Thank you for tuning into Black Girl in America TV. I was not going to do a video on this.
So you won't hear from the vice president tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow. She will be back here tomorrow to address not only the HU family, not only to address her supporters, but to address the nation.
When she did not come out and address her audience the night of her defeat, and her black audience looked just like me, predominantly black women in that audience. Yes, you saw a few other races, but when they showed that crowd, it was people that looked like me. My race, my gender, my complexion. You guys was not even worth her coming out to address y'all.
The headquarters for Kamala Harris, which has got to be disappointing for the people who've gathered there tonight wanting to hear from the vice president.
And this is the thing. All these black celebrities came in our face wanting us to support an Indian woman. And she don't even support y'all. The irony of it. She has a whole white husband. But that's another story in itself. I'm not here to talk about that. I do not care for this woman. I really don't like this woman. I never liked her when she ran as VP. She knew that the backlash was speaking very loud. The very next day she addressed y'all, she took her white husband by the hand, turned her back on y'all, and remember, she walked away, did not look back. That was the last we saw her. That woman did not want to come back to address y'all. She was going to go away, and we wasn't going to see her again until the end of her presidency. Remind you, we didn't see her the whole time as her being VP, which was very strange. Every VP I've known did some type of work. I didn't see this woman. First time we seen her when she came and said they're not like us, and she was out here in these streets.
I know you've been traveling across the country. What are you hearing?
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. These extremists, as they say, they're not like us.
That was the first time the country saw her in nearly 4 years. Kamala whole persona is a lie. And the reason I'm coming to you guys because she went away. We didn't see her anymore. She came out. Why is this woman always talking about power? The first video when she looked discombobulated, she was talking about power.
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire.
Bevelyn is right. She's obsessed with power.
So I learned at a very young age the power.
She's obsessed with knowing she has power. Some people use their power good and some people use their power bad. And not only did she say that, she was locking black women up left and right because their children was missing days from school. Forget that they're sick. She was locking these women up, black women.
When Kamala Harris was the California Attorney General, she had me arrested and prosecuted because my handicapped daughter was sick in the hospital and had missed some days of school. My daughter, Shayla, suffers from sickle cell anemia, a chronic, painful genetic disease.
I don't agree what Kamala Harris did to my mom, and I don't agree with what she's done to other parents as well.
My message to all Americans, especially Black Americans, do not trust Kamala Harris.
Remember why she put these truancy laws in place at the time she was a state prosecutor. And if the children did not go to school, the state loses money.
Because of truancy, California public schools lose $1.4 billion a year in funding.
I want money.
So that's why she came up with the truancy law in the first place. She was taking that money and ruining black women's lives. And we're not even going to talk about the black men lives that she ruined. We're not even going to get into that.
Jamal Truelove was convicted in 2010 for murder and sentenced to 50 years in prison, with Harris, the DA, who secured the conviction. In 2015, he was acquitted and also awarded $14.5 million after it was determined that the two lead detectives violated his civil rights. The moment you were convicted, you turned and looked at Kamala Harris. What did she do?
So when I got convicted in the courtroom, when I looked back and seen Kamala Harris in the courtroom, she laughed. And she laughed kind of like the same quirky laugh that she does that people see right now. And it felt like, she was celebrating a win with the laugh. But yeah, she laughed and in celebration.
Why is she keep coming to us talking about
Power.
This is a demonic person. It's just what I see when I look at her. Even before she came out with this video, I was saying it's no way this woman can just turn her back on her race like this. She cannot be mentally well. And it's not too far-fetched. Remember the nurse that was driving 130 miles per hour before killing a family? Her name is Nicole Linton. I mean, by looking at her, she looks perfectly normal. She suffers with bipolar and schizophrenia. And that day of the crash, she suffered a mental breakdown. Her boyfriend broke up with her that morning, and that's what took her down. But yeah, I couldn't help but to think of this lady, Nicole Linton, when looking at Kamala's defeat. Be happy that this lady did not get in the chair. We already see that she's not good with budgeting money.
Kamala Harris's campaign ended up with millions of dollars in debt, reportedly, and a lot of questions and accusations. A Politico reporter wrote the Harris team had $118 million in the bank, but ended with at least $20 million in debt. There are reports this morning Harris staffers are starting to talk about the campaign blowing through $1 billion in a few months with lavish concerts and bills that still needed to be paid. Now, other political reporters say the campaign is selling its email list and soliciting more donations from supporters to cover the debt. Harris outspent Trump by nearly $1 billion on her failed election bid.
Think about it. If she put her own campaign in debt, she would have put our country in debt. This lady was not set to run this country, and she's a female. I don't care what anybody say, and it's not even from tradition. A woman should not be president, period. That's just like me going out here picking a city trash job. That's a man's job. Some things are left up to a man, and Kamala Harris proved to us a woman should not run this country. She has too many hormones. Look how emotional she was after that loss, where she could not even come out address her supporters. So just imagine her being in office. Forget that she's an Indian. Let's look at it as her just being a female in office. Something did not go her way. She would have responded the same way with emotions. This country would have been doomed. A woman should not run nobody's country. That's just my belief. We are women. We have too many emotions and too many hormones. This woman is obsessed with power. I think she knows she's ready to go back to her home in California and be in the midst of all those illegal immigrants that she brought into this country. A lot of people were saying Kamala Harris was drunk on this clip. I truly don't believe she was. I think that she always struggled with mental illness. And I'm going to tell you why. The fact that this woman, this Indian woman, can change her voice depending on what crowd she's addressing. Like it's nothing, like it's okay. She cannot be well. That is not normal.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. I love you back.
Have you no empathy, man? You know, for the suffering of other people.
I'm half Jamaican. When I go around my Jamaican side of the family, I do not talk Jamaican. That's just like I'm going to get my nails done and I want to start talking Asian because they're in there talking Asian. Who does that? Then that is not normal behavior. And she does it where she don't care. She don't mind that she does it. She really think it's okay. Like when she went to this black church and tried to sound like a black preacher.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning. And church mourning is on its way.
That is somebody who is not well. That is somebody who's dealing with mental illness. And remember when she came out with her book and she photoshopped a picture of an elderly black woman and said that that was her grandmother. And she came to us saying she's black. The fact that this woman, Kamala, cosplayed another race after previously declaring that she was South Asian and Indian.
Becoming the first Indian American woman to be nominated as a vice presidential candidate in America. In a recent event, the Democratic vice presidential nominee took a trip down memory lane, recalling her mother's journey from India to America. Now, her mother, Kamala Gopalan, was born in Chennai and immigrated to America to study at UC Berkeley. The Indian origin senator also talked about her trips to India and her mother's attempts to instill a love of good idli in her. Listen.
I stand before you as the first candidate for Vice President of the United States of South Asian descent.
Okay, so what we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe. Yes. Because you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Not even caring about we telling her you're lying. You know she's not well. This lady, I believe, suffers with mental illness. I really believe when she lost that election, it triggered her mental illness. This video, you can see that she's not well. I really don't believe this is alcohol that did this. And think about it. If it was alcohol that did this, her team would have said, hey, do it tomorrow. I really believe that loss put her in this status, and this is how she been since that loss, because she's the VP. Somebody in her team would have said, not today. You drank a lot. They would not have cleared this. I think it just brought back her mental illness, which validates my point. Why did it put her in such mental illness? Because she has this obsession with power that she knows she now lost.
So you're a philosopher? Yes.